practice. This is for you. This is not for anybody else.
Okay.
And basically what we've been doing is having everybody, you just start talking whatever your pitch is going to be. We'll let you know when a minute is up. You don't have to cram it all into a minute.
Okay.
So we're really getting to this position where we want to get the sort of the key pieces out, but you don't have to race through it in a minute.
Okay.
Okay? And I'll just say this also, it's the first time through, it's important for you to just get through it. If you have to stop, if you forget something, don't say, "Oh, I'm sorry." There's nothing to apologize for. Just take a pause, think of what you're going to say, and go on. Okay? So it's the object here is not to get through the thing the first time with perfection. It's to get through it.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
It's like a W. Yeah. And so right here.
On the W.
Yes. Put your big. Are those 15 or 16?
Actually, he's a 14.
14. Okay. All right. All right. So put your feet in there. There we go.
Right in here?
Yeah, that's fine. And whenever you're ready. Okay?
So when does the minute start? When I start talking?
And, if you want to talk to me, because this is not about talking to a machine.
Okay.
It's about talking to a human audience. That's what we're trying to simulate. So
But don't move, though.
Yeah, you can, everything but...
You can move around.
You move it a little bit. Yeah. So if you can talk to me, I'm an audience member. I'm very interested in what you have to say.
Okay.
Okay?
My goal is I'm trying to develop a research for a business model for coaches. Having my unique perspective of skills and talents and experience, I want to be able to frame that and package it so I can present it to owners and presidents that do the hiring for general managers, so that coaches have some type of set of guidelines or process that they can follow to become a general manager, because it doesn't exist right now. There's only 32 of those jobs, and most of the time when you talk to those guys, it's about being in the right place at the right time, sheer luck, knowing someone. But I would like to set some type of guidelines where they can say, here are the steps I can follow from a coaching perspective, because most general managers come from scouting or personnel. And normally you don't have someone that comes from being a coach and becomes a general manager.
Okay. So what I'd like you to do is to make a clear, concise statement at the beginning of what it is you're trying to do. Okay? So
Clear and concise, okay.
Okay, I didn't know that you are, basically what you're trying to do is help train or give a process where people can go from coaching to being a general manager. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And it's in the NFL?
That's correct.
Okay, so I want you to just describe to me the essentials of what you're trying to do. And then the other stuff is really interesting. You can either repeat that, or we just, in other words, we need to put something up front. I need to know what it is precisely that you want to do. Does that make sense?
I'm trying to create I'm just trying to create a model for assistant coaches to follow, that aspire to get into management and become a general manager.
Is this model like in a book?
It's not in a book. It's going to be based off my research.
Is it a program that you're gonna basically coach the coach?
It'll just be a set of guidelines that would get them in the right direction to achieve their ultimate goal.
Okay, so it's all just, this is written down someplace.
It's jotted down here and there, yes.
Okay. See, we have to have a clear picture of what you want to do. And you're not going to be, you're just going to do the research and create guidelines, but there's going to be no personal aspect to it?
That remains to be seen.
Okay. Well,
Is it a business? Is it a research project? Is it a book?
It's probably more research than anything. It's not a business. I'm not selling anything. I'm just trying to have information for people that aspire to. If you're a coach, and I know y'all understand this, when you're coach, you're coaching.
Right.
And that's it. Mm-hmm. And if you're in personnel or scouting, then that's what you do.
Okay.
And most of the general managers come from that track.
Okay.
Now, have there been coaches that have also been general managers? Yes. You have coaches that have been general managers as well. Head coach and general manager having the dual role. But most of the time, you don't see coaches becoming general
And your
managers.
target sounds like it's assistant coaches, younger guys. So
Yes.
get them on track in the beginning.
Right.
Okay, so this is their ambition to help them get there.
Right.
Okay,
and so it's pretty much research more than I'm selling a...
Why are you doing this?
Why am I doing it? Because I may want to be one day.
Okay.
So you're researching it for your own interests.
Yes,
primarily.
but it would be able to be used by others. It's,
And why should coaches be general managers? I mean, what's wrong with the current system?
well, the current system is normally that guy's picked from the personnel side. Why should coaches be a general manager? Your first question is they're qualified to do so. They're qualified to do so because they already are talent evaluators. They already manage people. They already are good with those type of skills that allow them to run an organization. So in terms of scouting, evaluating talent, knowing X's and O's, being able to manage large numbers of people in the right direction, they're already qualified. And what I'm trying to get across to the owners and presidents who make those decisions, that when they start looking for a general manager, that they need to look right in their own building.
And why aren't they doing it now?
Because that I don't know. I don't have an answer for why they're not doing it now. But typically when you're looking for a general manager, you don't go and look at the coaching staff to pick that candidate.
Because they have, as you say, they have all the skills, right?
Right.
And yet they're picking it from the business side.
Correct.
It sounds like. So it looks like they're looking for business skills, not.
They would pick someone from, if they were going to pick someone to be a general manager, say they was getting rid of Rick Spielman, who was the general manager for the Minnesota Vikings, and they were firing him, they would not pick a guy from the coaching staff. They would go pick an assistant general manager or a director of player personnel or a director of college scouting from another organization, and then name him general manager at the Vikings. That's normally how that process goes.
Make the case to me why you think coaches are going to be better general managers than those other guys.
I don't know if they'll be actually better, but I think they bring a lot to the table in regards to being able to do the job of a general manager. Such as, like I mentioned before, being a great evaluator of talent. We do that all the time. Scouts do that as well, but then not only do we have to watch film like the scouts do, but we actually have an opportunity to go out there and develop the talent.
Right.
But I think you could make a case that in today's world, managing talent is the skill of a general manager. And if you're looking for people with those skills, you should be looking at the coaching staff. And so what you're doing is you're doing some research to demonstrate that that is the way that people should be looking for this talent that already exists in their organization, if they could just see the way to bring them to that level.
Yeah, so the audience sounds like the franchises, and I don't know if the league has any involvement with this.
No, I mean, I was thinking about maybe there could be a process through my research that, they have the Rooney Rule, where they have to, before they hire anyone else, they got to, at least interview a person of color. Mm-hmm. And maybe they could have the same thing for general managers, that at least...
That's set aside any specific skills, though. That's about expanding the talent pool from which candidates are
It's a management development program, it sounds like to me.
Because
we have to move along.
Sorry.
Okay.
But one quick thing I'd say, trying to do this for 32 slots that turn over only every 3 years on average sounds like a very tight way of looking at it. I think there's another thing going on here, which is coaches could be general managers of business in general, and exploring the opportunity for people to go from coaching to bringing those managerial skills to business could be an interesting path to take.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. A lot of the MBAs I've worked with are military, making a transition, and some of them turn into fantastic managers. Very different types of organizations, but again, there's a lot of talent in football, and there's only 32 positions.
Correct.
Right?
Really 32, but also just think more generally of management in the front office. I mean, moving from the coaching side.
That's
to the
another
front
thing I was
office
going to
to the
say,
front
yeah.
side.
There's other things, but again, how many thousands of companies are there?
Right.
So there's a lot more opportunity out there.
Down.
If there are coaches who don't want to spend their entire life in football.
Right.
Or coaching. I mean, I'm assuming.
Or coaching, yeah.
Yeah.
I've reached the end of my
Right.
coaching career. Just shooting for that one general manager spot that's a tough shot.
It's like another transition, from player to whatever you're going to do afterwards. That's also from coaching, Anyway,
Appreciate it. That was good
thought.
input. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of it.
Yeah.
How was that?
You are a good presenter.
That was good.
You are a good presenter.
just to get feedback, please.
Yeah, no. You have a real presence, a good presence.
And I was telling, David asked me, like, I said, yeah, I talk every day. I have to talk to my players every day. But I didn't know how this went.
No. Well, it's just a good example. You got the skills carry over.
Yeah.
Really well.
So I only had to get with you all about this and what direction to take. But thank you.
You're welcome.